tell us something about your journey so far and something about your life.
See, my journey is very ordinary. There's nothing extraordinary. I came from a very remote village to Delhi in a very unconventional way of progression. I was in a primary school in a village, and then I got into government higher secondary school, a place called Bomdila, and I was busy with all normal a young student will do there, play, sometimes read books, stay in village, help the parents, like that. I never thought I would come to Delhi, but finally I came to Delhi and I did my graduation from Hansraj College, and that gave me a way forward to look at the life with some objectives. Then I decided to do my LLB from the Campus Law Center in the Faculty of Law. The main Campus Law Center, I got to understand the legal side of the world. Although I was not very serious in terms of practicing, but I had some sense of law and how it is so important in your daily life. That year, the 1 year apprenticeship that system was enforced. So you cannot enroll yourself and practice straight away. You are supposed to undergo the training under one senior lawyer or in some farmhouse, some legal associates, whatever. So I did not do all these things. I went back and I got back to my old social works, which really interest me a lot. And while doing the social works, naturally people will start assessing your ability to lead or to give some leadership role in some of the issues. And by that time I had already come into contact with my party, BJP, and in 1999 I fought the election. But that was a bit of a experimental election because I was not very well, prepared for the election, and then I was defeated. But at a young age, it really didn't bother. So fresh from Delhi University and into the electoral mode, so it was like roller coaster. Suddenly, coming from village, studied in Delhi University, then straight away, into the electoral politics. But from 99, it started gaining some kind of a formal momentum because I was appointed as the member in the National Commission for Khadi and Village Industries. So Khadi and Village Industries Commission as some hardcore experience in governance, and then I was General Secretary of the party in the state. So that catapulted me into a league where I could consider myself as a serious politician. Then from 2004 onwards, I was elected to Lok Sabha. So that is how I say that my journey from a village to Delhi University and again back to electoral politics, very unconventional kind of movement in my career.
So, well, I would say, sir, it's truly inspiring. Your parents were also into politics. Do you think coming into politics was therefore somewhere, a natural choice for you?
It was not a natural choice at all because my father was MLA, but he had given up. He's not that typical politician. He was a social leader. In a way, he was the chief of our locality, in our community. So by that virtue, he was into politics because when the Britishers came, they identified some local headmen, some chiefs, and then gave some kind of responsibilities or some kind of dealings with the chief of those localities and all. My father was never elected initially, because those days it was like nomination. They were council members, then that council member was converted into MLA. Then later on he got elected, but that was later on. Then he gave up politics in 80. So after 1980, we were not in politics. I mean, politics, we used to participate and vote, but not that active. But my contest into the election is not because of my father. My father was MLA, but it's not connected, because I decided to contest independently because the situation came as such that I was to contest.
Do you feel any pressures being in this position, or have you faced any pressures over these years? And if at all, sir, how have you dealt with the same?
I never allow pressure to take over me, because a human being cannot perform under pressure, or under pressure, under duress, if you do something that is not natural. I normally handle anything or everything in a very smooth and normal manner. I never come under pressure. It will take a toll on you if you start taking things too seriously. Well within the jurisdiction of your capacity, or whatever is required out of you, you must do that. Beyond that, if you try to do too many things and beyond the brief, what you are supposed to do, then that doesn't serve the purpose. So I normally live my life very casually, very normally. At the same time, I don't do anything which will harm anybody or which is not expected of me. I have a respect, I have a status, I have a responsibility. So I'm not supposed to do anything which is unbecoming of my responsibility or my position. Very, very careful about that. And I'm not supposed to do anything which brings bad name to my family, society, my country, my state, my community. These are certain things which remain in the back of your mind. Morality is very important for me. If you are strong morally, then you are not going to venture out of your stipulated duties or whatever given professional responsibilities which you have. You will not veer out of that. So the element of morality always plays very important part in carrying out my activities in daily life.
Should people who are in position of authority, position of power, always sort of appear strong, or is it okay to sort of have show your softer side or show your vulnerability? What do you think?
I think the human being is such that there are always two sides, the strength and the weakness that everybody will have. The strength should not become a weapon for you to demolish somebody, and the weakness should not be a reason for somebody else to destroy you. There has to be a balance in life. Suppose if I am holding a position which is supposed to be very powerful, in a sense, the position can drive you and do things to change the life of the people or the destiny of the nation, then you must be very careful, because wrongful application of your authority and power can be destructive. So when you are more responsible, you are supposed to be more careful. As I said, I am not too serious. I am very casual in my lifestyle, but I am very careful about discharging my duties. So when I get larger responsibilities in my life, like I was in the good position in party, then in the commission, then as a member of parliament, then as ministers now second term, I feel that the advantage is I always take my position as a responsibility, not a position to do something which is harmful to others.
It is believed that mental health issues are going to be the next pandemic. So what are your thoughts on the young generation which are facing the mental health issues and struggling with that?
If you go to rural areas, like where I come from, mental issue is not even thought about. Mental issue is not even considered worthy of an issue. It is something which is in the backdrop. The more you come into modernity, the more you come into contact with the complex modern world, the mental issue becomes more relevant. What is important is we should not consider mental issue as a stigma. Mental issue should be treated as any other issue. If there are elements or there are problems, there are ways and methods to deal with that. So mental issue needs to be dealt in such a manner that it doesn't stigmatize a person. So even if in Western world also, they have understood it. So they are dealing with this issue more seriously than what we think and we deal with in India. So for me, mental issue is more of the product of the modern complex world, where you are put into certain mode and you start feeling that you have a problem. For example, in today's time, you will find that there are more mental issues, and the resultant whatever we see outcome is that there are now treatment for that. People have a specialized way of dealing with this issue. If you live a normal social life, you will have less mental issue. Like the children, today's young growing up children, they are isolated from the traditional way of life. They are more connected with their gadgets, their all electronic items, or with the digital world. Then you are more prone to encounter the mental issues. The more you live a normal life, more socialized life, you become more normal. You become more understanding with the issues surrounding you. That means, what I want to say is, one must not be detached from your social life. Everybody has a traditional social life. I come from a particular kind of a social life. If I detach myself from that way of life and get myself into the mode of a world which is very unusual for my community, then you are going to encounter many mental problems.
We are living in the world of illusions. We are living in the world of social media. Do you think there is a constant pressure on public figures, which at times affects their mental health?
The pressure in the present time is enormous, which is unnecessary actually. For example, I am doing a normal duty, but because of the social media, because of the digital connect, something else can become a priority. If I am not allowed to function normally because I am constantly being disturbed by the happenings around the world, it will naturally disturb me as a human being. And that happens when you are connected digitally. Now, if I am away from digital world for 5-6 days, I'll be peaceful. Initially, I may be little uncomfortable because suddenly you are cut off from your mobile phone, your all the connections which you remain connected with the world through your various platforms, especially the social media. If you suddenly get disconnected, you feel jittery, you feel uncomfortable, but you will realize that if that continues for another 2-3 days, then it becomes normal again. If an urgent message has to reach you, it will reach you. If you are required to gather certain important information, it will come to you or you will gather it. But the bombardment of the unnecessary, this kind of very disturbing news or unnecessary disturbance through various comments, somebody will call you at an odd hour, or you get information which is otherwise totally unconnected to you, it disturbs your way of life. So it is unavoidable, but it can be regulated. I cannot say that I will not use social media, but I can definitely regulate it in the way which suits my lifestyle. So you should not be drawn into the technology just because it is available.
So, would you like to speak about any of the instances somewhere that you had to deal with certain mental health issues in your life?
I have never faced any problem whatsoever which is related to mental problem, because my lifestyle is such that I'm not going to face it. I know even in the later part of my life also I'm not going to face this problem. As I said, as Malik was asking, that even if I'm sitting in a very, very important position, that position, if I handle it properly, then I'm normal. If that power goes into my head, or if I get under pressure from the people that being in a particular position, I am pressurized to do certain things out of way, it is not normal. So always, if you see, whenever I talk to people, whenever I come across any other groups of people, my handling of situation is always very normal and simple, because my philosophy of life is simple living, high thinking. But Mahatma Gandhi also said that. That is not because Mahatma Gandhi has said that, but actually that is what I am.
Wonderful, sir. So we all know you've done some great work while you were part of the sports ministry. Do you think physical fitness, sports can, help in some way to deal with issues of mental health?
Physical fitness is absolutely necessary for everybody. Sometimes we have to be critical about our lifestyle, and I'm very honest. We Indians do not pay attention towards fitness, which now under Modi ji's leadership, this Fit India movement, Khelo India, we are driving it. I was Minister for Youth Affairs and Sports, so I was one of the person who led this campaign, Fit India, Khelo India. So if you play for professional sports, professional competition, for your career, that is one thing. Another thing is you play for your fun, fitness, as a way of life, there's another thing. Both are important. What is universal is you must be fit. You do something. Now in India, traditionally after 65 years or 70 years, our people start behaving in a way that which is very retiring. They say, oh, he's old, he's aged, it's not his job now. In Japan or in Western world, you don't retire. In Japan, the average life is more than 100 years. To live 100 years is normal in Japan. Anybody, unless you die through accident or some unfortunate ailment, it's a different thing. Average, they live 100 years. And if you are not having any external problem or any inherent internal problem, a normal life should go above 100 years. Food habit and other things are important, but by and large, your physical activities, your movement, your activeness in your lifestyle is important in determining how healthy your life is and how is your longevity of life will be. So the length of your life must also be good quality life. It's not that you 100 years you live, but 30 years you live on the bed. That is not good. You live throughout and then you live it in a healthy manner. जैसे हिंदी में कहते हैं कि जिंदगी लंबा हो तो अच्छी बात है, लेकिन जिंदगी बड़ा होना चाहिए. If you live long but you struggle, no point. How long you live, that is very subjective, but in what way you live, that is important. So live a very happy and healthy life. So fitness, physical fitness, mental fitness, these are so important, and now it is coming into our way of life slowly. I have seen In cities now in India, people are jogging, running, cycling. Even the young Indians are now going towards adventure sports also. Earlier, the adventure sports and all were only for the Western people. We Indians are not used to exploring things. We are not adventurous. But now our new generations, we have seen they are going towards all these kind of interesting activities, which is good.
Thank you so much, sir. Very insightful answer, and I agree that physical fitness plays a major role in mental health issues. My next question is, how significant mental health issues amongst the legal fraternity? And everyone expects lawyers and legal professionals to be competitive. So, is the Ministry of Law taking some steps to look into this aspect?
See, as I said, universally we have to be fit, whether you're a lawyer or a judge or whatever. But judges, if they sit throughout the day, they hear 50, 60 cases, they need rest also. In the same manner, lawyers, if you struggle too much as a lawyer, then it will definitely have an impact on your mental health. So for the lawyers, rather than struggling into the procedural aspect, if you can concentrate more on the legal aspects, it's better. I have made certain remarks in one of the functions that what I see in some of the live streaming of the high courts, the judges are questioning more about the procedural aspects. They keep complaining about why this is not filed in this manner, that manner, why somebody is not wearing proper dress, why somebody is not talking properly, why somebody is behaving in an indecent manner in the court. All these things are happening. Rather than concentrating on the procedural aspect, if we give more time on the legal aspects or the matter related to the question of law, it will be more productive. So your stress will come through something which is not productive. Anything which is productive is always good. So lawyers or the judges, bar and bench, I want Indian judiciary to be fit, means vibrant, productive. So is the bars. All the bars must ensure that the lawyers don't struggle. I'm going to give suggestions to the Bar Council and the Bar Association also. They should work out in such a way that the lawyers under their fraternity are equally given opportunities to get cases, to handle cases, and also to give chance to grow. A good lawyer will grow better. A less efficient lawyer will get less case, but opportunity must be provided equally. So to ensure that all the lawyers, they should get all the opportunities to practice and to profess whatever they do, they should be allowed to do it. If a lawyer is undergoing lots of stress because of the caucus, because of the all the obstacles which they normally face, which is not good. Especially for the young lawyers, they should be given full platforms and opportunities to perform. Under difficult circumstances, nobody will be able to showcase his or her talents. So the mental issue for the judges or the lawyers, this I feel that if there are certain legislations or certain guidelines required, I'm very positive towards considering into it. But for that, I will require to consult the legal fraternity also, because I have certain things in my mind, but I don't want to just come into certain conclusion or get ideas out of blue and then just impose it. In a democratic setup, we need to exchange views and then we consult with each other. Then necessary legislation can be brought in, or if a simple guidelines can be issued, it can be done. But these are very subjective. We need to have a much wider consultations for that.
Sure, sir. Just a follow-up to this question, sir. The nature of the profession, in fact, even for politicians, you're really dealing with problems of people, hearing cases, or really trying to find solutions to problems. Same is the case with judges as well. do you think some sort of training how to handle trauma would help in some way, or some sort of activities around it will help?
It will certainly help, but as I said, in Indian system of handling issues, we are more into consultation and conversation. We are not Western type, everything is very individual and handled in a very isolated manner. Here, my issue is my father's issue also, my issue is my brother's issue also. So we have this unit of family, very unlike the Western culture. So sometimes what mistake we make is, our people they study outside, especially in UK, Australia or Canada, United States. We get Western education and we try to impose everything in our setup, which doesn't gel along very well. So as a leader, I have a natural way of handling things. But if I'm mechanically guided by certain theories, or some universities in the Western countries have done some research and then give me some training and all, training in governance, training in implementation of law, implementation of decisions, these are very good. These are highly technical and it must be. But when handling of the issues, how to talk to people, how to handle the pressure, and how to be with your people effectively, to understand and just to feel their pains, their agonies, or to share their stories, these are very human side of the issues. These cannot be trained. I always believe that while dealing with human issues, it is always better to deal with your traditional method rather than the things which are being done through research and then come out, especially from the Western side. I am not against Western culture, but I am firmly of the view that the Western theories and Western thoughts are not to be implemented in toto, or not to be adopted in our society as it is, because our way of thinking, our circumstances, our ambience as a old civilized nation, we are an old civilized nation, it's different. So we have to always keep that in mind.
Thoughts have really sort of set up for the next question. Is how do we sort of think of creating support systems, formal support systems, informal support systems, and what do you feel in terms of the family as being a support system to somebody or people who are facing these mental health issues?
Support system, when we come, it comes back to family and your near and dear ones. We really need to progress in a very Indian way. That is why I said we normally tend to make mistakes of getting ourselves into the Western lifestyle. Our problems are to be handled in Indian way. The Japanese behaves a Japanese way. A Japanese doesn't behave like a British. We have to understand that. So when we are talking about a collective problem or individual problem, we have a way to deal with it. So we need to understand that we need to become modern. At the same time, we have to move certain things in a traditional manner. Modernity with traditional touch, that is beautiful. So that is why, see, when I go to United States or UK, I speak in their universities and all. I don't see what they want to listen according to their choice. I just speak what I want to speak and what they should know, that this is what I am. I'm not going to please them by speaking their language. So any problem, I always look at the problems from our basic Indian way of looking into it, not through the prism of the Western outlook.
Thank you so much, sir. This just the final last question, that we at SCC are trying to spread awareness towards mental health issues, and how do you think as a part of legal society we can make this reach wider, and we can spread awareness towards the society regarding the issue?
I think you are a very dynamic young team. When you have chosen a subject as a core issue which you want to take it forward and spread awareness, it's very good. And you will get lots of people who will also be coming forward to extend their suggestions as well as their assistance. People will come forward, I'm very sure. And there are certain issues which you will encounter while doing all this kind of a spreading awareness. And this is a field which is not dealt with in large scale in our country, because we are so used to ad hocism. We believe in ad hoc, kind of arrangement. We are not yet very institutionalized in our approach in many things. So these mental issues, problem related to the present way of the younger generation affected by the new wave of technology and other issues. So we are encountering new problems each day, every passing moment. So while taking up these kind of issues, I think by spreading awareness, you need to get on board some of the organizations or some of the people who also may have similar ideas, or who may also be having not similar ideas but on certain things which you need collaboration. So if you collaborate with some other people, then you can have a synergy of different approach. Then you can expand your horizons. So I very well appreciate the way of you are handling this issue of mental health and taking this into a forefront as an issue. Yes, we cannot ignore this is an issue. At the same time, try to get on board some of the people who are taking up certain other issues and matters as their priority. Then you can have a collaboration into that. And if you need government support or government's interventions or collaboration, I am always there. Like all these AIDS awareness programs, legal AIDS and legal awareness program is very important part of my ministry. NALSA is doing that. But along with the campaign, we come across and get hold of some other groups and some other organizations who also chip in with their experiences and their campaign. So that is how we interact and get our own action more motivated. You'll feel nice to interact with more people. So I'm very appreciative of the initiative which you all are doing it.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving your time. It was absolutely fantastic interview, and we loved every word of your whatever you said, and I think our readers are going to benefit a lot with this interview.
Thank you very much. It was a very casual discussion, but sometimes this kind of a casual conversation is more meaningful than having a prepared and well documented discussion or interview.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.